Welcome to the 290 Mo podcast. I appreciate your time. If you could, introduce yourself for my viewers and listeners.
I am Melly Starz. I am a music journalist, I would like to say, host, media publication, and now an artist manager. You can follow me everywhere, Melly Starz. You can Google me. Check out my website, www.mellystars.com. And yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. If you can't find me,
Oh, for sure. You on the World Wide Web. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? That's Googleable. So that's dope. That's dope for sure. I definitely appreciate you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? You've been here before, you know what I'm saying, but in different chairs. So you know what we finna get into. So
Yeah.
let's start from the top. Where you from? Where you grew up?
So I was originally born out here in Chicago, and then I moved to Miami in like middle school, and then I was there for some years, and now I'm back in Chicago. So pretty much sums it up.
Okay. Well, we gonna unsum it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So what was it like growing up in Miami?
I hated it.
For real?
I hated pretty much every moment of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from the moment I landed, I was like, I'm ready to go back home. Like,
So it was originally Chicago first, then Miami.
yeah.
Okay. How long were you in Chicago before you went to Miami?
Like 13 years,
Oh.
13, 14 years.
Okay, so you was already you from Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay,
pretty
so
much.
real quick for the people who's never been to Miami or Florida at all, what's the major differences between Chicago and Miami?
The culture, definitely. It's for me. It was a major culture shock. Like, for example, I only ever spoke Spanish at home to like my parents, and then Miami, specifically in the area that I was in, I was speaking Spanish 95% of the time. So I definitely had to learn a lot more Spanish. Just the way that people kind of are, just manners and things of that nature. Cultural. It's just the culture is completely different. Like over there, I kind of call Miami like the Wild West because literally you could do practically anything and get away with it.
Okay, but there's definitely some similarities in Chicago. Some places in Chicago that's the
Yeah,
Wild
certain
West,
part, yeah.
and in some places, you know what I'm saying, that's speak predominantly Spanish. So what side or what part of Chicago are you from?
Well, like more so the suburbs. So I didn't really. I think I might have. I think like for example, my cousins were like the only Cubans in the area that I can remember. So I think we stuck out a little bit more. So I think that's why. For me, it was a big culture shock because I wasn't around too many Hispanic people.
So
Yeah.
which language would you consider your first language?
English.
Okay. And so you didn't feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, around the 95% Spanish speaking? Like, I'll be feeling, you know what I'm saying, like, I'll be feeling like I got superpowers, like, I gotta understand what they saying and stuff. Because now I'll be like, I don't know what the fuck going on.
No,
Shorty.
I would always look at everybody like, what? For real? Like, this is how you guys do things? I'm so confused. Yeah. Even after spending so much time there, you would think that I would like adjust. And I don't think I don't feel like I ever truly adjusted because I still looked at like coworkers and friends like, huh? Yeah.
What about, you know what I'm saying, like the outside life, like, you know, in Chicago, we have the snowstorms, you know what I'm saying, the 60 degrees today and 40 tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, and then out there you got the ocean and good weather year round. Is that, you know what I'm saying, does that have any effect on it? Like, do you be up here like, man, I miss the weather down there, or it's just, man, fuck Miami?
Like when it was really cold. Well, I was here in January when it was in the negatives. I was definitely like, ooh, I don't know if I could do this weather. Like, I like the cold, but I don't like it that cold.
Right.
Because Miami, it's pretty much like 80-degree weather most of the year. The only thing we really worry about is like hurricanes, and that's for a few months out of the. It's ironically during the summer is hurricane season, so it's a lot of like rain, and it gets gloomy. But then it's like it'll be raining on like one side of the street, and then in the other side of the street it's not raining, so it doesn't really make sense. So the weather has been a change, but I like the cold. I like to see all the seasons. Like I would get frustrated because in Miami I was always in like shorts and dresses and stuff, and I was like, I can never wear jeans, and I can't wear a jacket for anything. Like I would get frustrated because I couldn't wear cute winter clothes, which I know is crazy. Everybody's like, you're weird.
It's definitely crazy. I hate the winter time. I hate being cold, but that's dope. So what about aspirations like coming up, you know what I'm saying? Like now, you know what I'm saying, you carry a lot of titles that we're gonna get into, but coming up, growing up, what did you want to be? What did you think you was gonna be, you know what I'm saying, at that adolescence?
So when I was out here growing up, I secretly wanted to be a
Not
writer.
secretly.
Secretly, like I didn't tell my parents or anything that that's what I wanted to do, but my dream was always like, I'm gonna move downtown and I'm gonna write a column for like a newspaper.
What age was that? What did
I
you
was like 10, 11, and I was writing like short stories in my notebooks and stuff like that. But like to my parents and everybody else, I was going to be a lawyer. I was going into the legal field. And then I ended up kind of combining the two in recent years, and I ended up being a legal writer. So,
a legal writer? What is that, like writing on the cases that's going on?
so it's pretty much like writing for attorney websites, like their blogs, their home pages, landing pages, bios, all of that. So pretty much like crafting their entire website. And then I did legal marketing, which is how I got into the legal writing.
Okay.
So I combined the two in some form.
What would you say was your passion, you know what I'm saying, throughout that time? Like, did you have a passion for that? Was you ultimately looking forward to what you're doing now? Like, at that time, was you happy at what you were doing?
Happy. That's a kicker. I think growing up, like I said, I always had a passion. I was more passionate about the writing. And I think with the legal stuff, I was like, I want to do like animal activism, animal rights, because I am a big animal person. So I think that's what I was kind of trying to do. And then I didn't have the confidence to really take that like change until I got into college. And like, mind you, my parents were kind of helping me with college. So I had to, after like a semester of like criminal justice and like going down the legal path, I was like, this is the rest
How many
of my
classes
life.
you took? You took criminal justice, you undercover spy. We gonna have to run through all your titles again when we get back there, you know what I'm saying? So
I've done a lot. We
Yeah.
might be here a while.
so doing all of that, you know what I'm saying, how do you stay motivated, you know what I'm saying? Because as a young person, you know what I'm saying, going through college, and not only going through college, but taking on all those different, you know what I'm saying, titles, how were you maintaining, you know what I'm saying, like your mental health, you know what I'm saying? What was your support system like throughout that time, or was it pretty much a solo thing?
For a lot of it, it was a solo thing, but I always did kind of revert back to like my cousins and like my family, because it was always like, I gotta make it to make sure that they're good. Like, no matter what I do, I gotta make sure that my 3 cousins and my brother are set for life. And like, I'm, the older one, so it really, I felt more of that pressure. But every time that I kind of would feel unmotivated, I just had to look at it and be like, you're doing this for them. Like, you're setting an example. You have to figure it out, you know. And now I live with them, so now I see that motivation every single day. Yeah, that's mental health was. I don't think I ever put it to the forefront. I just dealt with my anxiety and was like, "You're gonna get over it because you have to do this." Now I'm dealing with my mental health and more like on top of it.
For sure. So you mentioned, you know what I'm saying, doing it for your family and your cousins, and that's definitely honorable. Why is that, if you don't mind me asking? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you they're like their parent figure? Are you just the oldest in the family, the first to go to college? Like, what made you want to take on, you know what I'm saying, to make sure they straight instead of, you know what I'm saying, it's just all about me, I'm gonna make sure I'm good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So so my parents immigrated here from Cuba initially, and I was like the first one born here in the States, and like the first one to go to college, and the oldest. And a lot of times growing up, it was like, well, you got to take care of your cousins, you got to take care of your brother. Like, you're responsible for them to a degree. And I think I always just took that responsibility with me. Even though I didn't have to, and my cousins are like, you didn't really have to do all of that, but I did. I think it was more so the pressure of like parents, and just in Hispanic household, the oldest daughter syndrome, how they say, they put a lot of pressure on you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Definitely appreciate you sharing that with us. So, you in Chicago 13 years. You go to Miami. How long are you in Miami for?
20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay, so what ultimately makes you, you know what I'm saying, decide to come back to Chicago?
I would say I always did want to come back, but I definitely would have.
Always?
Oh, it was always like in me, like
20 years you never felt like, oh, this is home.
no, never, never. I would come fly out here like once a month or once a year, and I'm like, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm like Miami didn't ever truly feel like home to
No
me.
connection with, like, I know it's like close, it got like a big Cuban, you know what I'm saying, community, no connection like with that either.
No, no. I think I never really fully connected to it. And like I said, Chicago was always home for me. So I knew at some point I wanted to come back. But, sometimes you get life happens. Like I went to college, I got my bachelor's, and I got my master's, and I kind of just
Then I got my master's.
then I kind of just got stuck there. You kind of get into the habit of just day to day life, and you get stuck there. And then I'd say I was actually gonna I was done with the entertainment field, everything, and I would really have to say what kind of changed that for me was Herb Dean. I was ready to. He's here with me today. I was ready to pretty much sell my equipment. Like I was gonna leave my website up because people still use that as like media, but I was pretty much ready to just throw in the towel. And for many years, I had kind of been covering his music and stuff like that, and I covered something for him. I think it was like an event that he had performed at. Then a few months later, he was performing again, and then he flew me out to cover his event. And then that was kind of what really did it for me, was like, you could do this again. You can definitely do this again. You don't suck. Clearly, people still believe in you, and people still fuck with you. So I started working with him, and then through him, I met another artist, Maya Storm, who was here previously. And I started working with her and flying out, and it got to the point I was flying out every couple months, and it was just like, I'm flying out so much, just might as well make it official.
Was it a hard decision?
No.
Was it easy? Like making the transition, you know what I'm saying? Getting your life has been in a whole nother state for 20 years. Was it easy getting back up here?
I booked a one-way and packed 2 suitcases, and that was pretty much it.
Man made up, goddamn it.
Yeah, I mean, I still have like my stuff in my car, and like there's still some logistical things I have to deal with, but
Hey, you just give me the title.
yeah. No, so yeah, there's just some logistical things, but it wasn't really hard. Like saying goodbye to like some of my friends was hard. Saying goodbye to my brother, leaving my dog was probably.
Damn. You can go get the dog one day.
Yeah, I might get him soon.
Oh, it don't sound like you too excited to go get him.
No, I am. I'm just
Okay.
like soon.
All right, for sure. I definitely understand.
It was emotional saying goodbye, but making the decision and it wasn't. I was still here, and I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna book a one-way. And I booked a one-way, and my aunt's like, so you're gonna live here? And I was like, I don't know, it's a one-way, like we'll see, like I'm not moving my stuff yet. She's like, okay, I mean, you can always go back to Miami. Now I have a trip to Miami to be on a podcast, and I'm like I want to do the podcast, but I'm like, damn, I don't want to go back to Miami.
Damn.
I have to at some point. I got to get my stuff, but
Okay. So before we get back to Chicago, let's talk about, you know what I'm saying, entering the entertainment field in Miami. You know what I'm saying? How did you get into that? What's that like, you know what I'm saying, for us who don't know nothing about it?
Okay, so when I was
And for you experiencing it for the first time. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So I'll just go kind of based on my personal experience with it. For me, when I was doing my master's, I had to start a blog when I was doing my bachelor's, but it was more so just like music that was on the radio that I was kind of talking about. So for my master's, I decided to do something different. They were also like, you have to do a blog. I'm like, okay, another freaking blog, fine, I guess. But I wanted to do like artist interviews and reviewing music. So that's kind of where Music in Melville started. And I kind of just creative people around me, schoolmates, people I ran into, I would interview them. And I did it first. It was like written interviews. Like I would just sit down with them, like over like dinner or something, and
You must got
ask them
that shit
questions.
on the typing. You talking about written interviews?
Yeah, so I would. That's kind of where it started, and then eventually, I
You
linked
know,
up with
typing them word for word.
pretty
Oh,
much,
you go crazy.
pretty much, yeah. With a little extra sauce.
Nah,
You know?
even to do that shit, you know what I'm saying? I'll be. Yeah, I send that email in about 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But no, what's up?
So that's kind of where I started making connections, and then started getting invited to different shows, which there weren't that many, but out there it wasn't really too many shows. I was more so getting invited to music video shoots because a lot of times people would fly in. It's the weather, the scenery, it it makes for good video. So a lot of times it was more so I was going to music video shoots. Just that's where I would meet artists. Sometimes people fly in from like New York, and it's like, oh wait, I want a Melly Starz interview. Like, how can we make that happen? And I'm like, bruh, it's freaking. Do you see the time? Like, what you mean? And then I would go to the hotel room. Okay, we're gonna do the interview right now, and it's because they're like flying out the next day, but they needed to get their interview beforehand. So that's kind of where I got how I got into the industry, like the local industry. But it wasn't too many shows, or I would say maybe a handful of shows. It was more so music videos and just hanging out with the right people or hanging out with artists and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Coming, you know what I'm saying, from your background, you know what I'm saying, from your household, what was it like, you know what I'm saying, stepping onto these music video scenes? I know you've seen a lot of things. I'm not sure what year you was doing the music scene in Florida, but around now and for a few years back, it's been kind of crazy, especially in Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh yeah, no.
I don't. What was your experience like? You know what I'm saying? Being around these artists, being in these music video scenes, like Chicago, we got a word for like a lot of people. Sometimes, like when I be around, I be like they Hollywood, but we ain't in Hollywood. So, but what was your experience like?
I say a lot of artists out there are very Hollywood. The ones that are from there, the ones that are flying in are actually more humble and more ready to work. That the artists who are actually from Miami are very like, like they stick their nose up kind of, which is, who are you? But okay, anyways. Well, with me, I'm even now I have the tendency to always have somebody with me, whether a boyfriend, a brother, whatever it is, like semi security. Like even my cousins, when I was flying out a lot, like they have their security shirts. My brother in Miami, he has his security shirt, the Melly Starz security with their name and everything, custom made. So I didn't really have to deal with too much of like weird shit because I was always, like I said, I would always bring a male with me, which sucks that you kind of, as a female in the industry, you have to do that to kind of circumvent
Facts.
anything. But that was kind of like the way that I was able to kind of buffer any weird shit. I mean, weird shit's gonna happen regardless. But
Yeah, for sure. I also meant like, you know what I'm saying, like have you ever been on the set with like guns, drugs, strippers who booty stank, you know what I'm saying, shit like that.
let me see, drugs. Yeah, that's like I've always drugs, alcohol. I mean, it's pretty standard. Guns, not in the music video, but around for sure. Strippers. Oh, actually, yes. There was a music video shoot at a strip club, and we ended up on the stage with the strippers. So, yeah.
Okay. Entering the entertainment world, what was your family's response to it? You know what I'm saying? We talked about the expectations that they might have had for you, the ones that you might have had for yourself even. You know what I'm saying? So what was their response when they see you out making these moves around these people and choosing this career path?
They weren't too involved. So, like, my mom, when I told her that I was switching my major from, like, law to entertainment, or communications specifically, she was like, oh, but can you still be a lawyer like that? And I was like, to kind of appease her, I was like, well, I could be an entertainment lawyer. Again, my parents were helping me pay for get through college. So I'm like, I gotta
Right.
manipulate the situation a little bit. My dad was like, are you going to be the weather girl? Like, you could be on TV and I could watch you do the weather. I was like, sure, Dad, if that's what helps me get these student loans and get my books, sure, I will be the weather girl if that's what makes you happy. But I didn't really involve them too much or give them too many details on what I was doing, where I was going, stuff like that. Because I just didn't. So yeah, that was kind of their reaction, just with the schooling part of it. And like I would involve them in like the tame stuff, like when I was actually like in studio, like doing news reports and stuff. Like, look, Mom, look, Dad, I did this thing. So they didn't really see too much of like the hip hop music scene. They saw more so of like she's a reporter. She did her internship at Telemundo. Like, oh my God, the news story that she worked on, we're watching at 5 o'clock tonight, you know? So that's kind of how I manipulated that situation.
So throughout that time, you know what I'm saying, the 20 years in Miami, getting ready to head back to Chicago, what all, you know what I'm saying, accomplishments and accolades had you accumulated in the entertainment space before you got on that plane back to Chicago?
Oh man, I have no idea. That's a tough one.
Come on, you got.
I feel like I haven't accomplished much, but like if you ask anybody around me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're like the coolest thing to ever like be."
Well, let me ask you this: what would you say would be the biggest highlight of your career before you came back to Chicago and Miami?
Before I came back.
The biggest highlight, like the night you will live over, that was just perfect. Everything was right.
Man, okay. Damn, is that everything that I think, like every night that I'm like, oh my God, it was perfect, is Chicago based? Where it's like, oh, I got.
It could have been a collaboration or working with an artist.
Okay.
Or getting in a certain room.
I would say probably a couple of emails that I did get to do reviews on where I was like, oh my God, this is like super cool. Is one was like Kendrick Lamar's cousin who reached out to do like a music review. I did do it for him. And the other one was Wu-Tang, like second generation Wu, which is like the kids of Wu-Tang. Those are definitely like exciting points. Oh, and then like the Marley brothers. I also had like emails from them. So I think those were probably like the three standouts that I was like, whoa, they're asking me to do a review on their music kind of thing. And that happened while I was in Miami. I didn't really like necessarily like in person or anything like that. But
it's still a big deal. Like I'd have framed the fuck out that shit. You know what I'm saying? So with me having that feeling, you know what I'm saying? Do you look at those things and you be like, yeah, I made it, or you be like, man, that's little shit, on to the next thing?
I think it's like, for me, it's validating. It's definitely like a validating situation where like, oh, you're not just working with local underground anymore. Like, you're clearly somewhere where people are visible, you know, like where Trina's team is emailing you to promote her song, where, like I said, all the other people that I named, like, so it's more so validating, not like, oh, I'm on to the next, or like, this is the highlight, or not, it is a highlight, but it's not like the end all be all. So I think it's just validating, like, hey, I'm clearly doing something right if I'm getting attention from people who are in these positions, you know.
Okay, so you flying back and forth to Chicago, you make the decision, get the one-way ticket, you know what I'm saying, bro got you working, you know what I'm saying, Maya Storm got you working. But when you're on your way back yourself, you know what I'm saying, in your head, you know what I'm saying, what's the goal? Is it purely to work with these two? Do you have a specific goal in mind, you know what I'm saying, personally? Like, is it just, I'm just happy to be back in Chicago and then whatever happens, or?
No, it was, yes, I'm going to focus on them, but it's also, I'm taking over. Like, Chicago is mine now. Like, I'm going to be the biggest media publication
we can share
in
it.
Chicago.
We can share it. No,
that was kind of my goal. And I was like, if you're taking this step, you're making this move, yes, you're going to invest in Urban Maya, but you also have to invest in yourself a little bit. And
Thanks.
So that's kind of, it was like, you're going to take over Chicago and you're going to be the hottest shit ever. That's not to toot my own horn, but that was kind of my mentality of like, because it was more so you have to make this work or you're going back to Miami. Pretty much is what I said. Like I gave everybody when I decided to do the one way, I was like, I'll give it a year. One full year. We're going to figure it out. If this takes off, cool. If it doesn't, I'm going back to Miami. Do I believe that that's what's going to happen? No. But I need to have that in the back of my mind as motivation, to go as hard as I can.
That's dope. That's dope.
And yes, we could share a little bit, I guess. I could share the spotlight with you.
That's real responsible putting the time limit on shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I procrastinate like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So now that you back in Chicago, working with artists, you know what I'm saying? I love to want to have managers or record label execs, you know what I'm saying? Because I like to see the dynamic, you know what I'm saying, between the representation and the artist or manager and the artist, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be. Is it easy working with artists?
I would say in the past, no. But with the artists I'm working with now, yeah, it is. And I think a lot of it comes down to, because I've been asked to do management more times than I can count over the years. And I've always been like, no. Like with people who already have deals, who are already on TV, who are already doing it. Like they've already established themselves. And I've said constantly, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. And for me, this is different because with the artists that I'm working with now, it's not just their career. They're also, we're going to invest in you and we're going to help your career flourish. And they don't make it difficult at all. I think we also have like a personal relationship, but they know like, hey, yes, we have a personal relationship. We also have a business relationship and we know when to like turn it on and off. So that makes it easier for sure.
Okay. And then, you know what I'm saying? I know everything working with artists isn't always in agreement. You know what I'm saying? There always has to be, well, it doesn't always have to be some disagreement. But is managing, you know what I'm saying? Is managing artists, I want to say happiness, but managing their feelings in a way a part of your job, or is it strictly business? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like it, don't like it, or
because it's, you have to be, for me, it's being involved in every aspect of it, because if your personal isn't where it needs to be, then you're not in a space to create. If you're not in a space to create, then we can't put you on a show. We can't release your album. We can't release your music. We can't do all of these other things. So I need you to be in a good space mentally, emotionally, and let me know how I can facilitate that. You know, is there something I can do? Like, do you need to cry? Like, what do we need? How do we fix this? Because I see it from both ends, I guess, because I create too. And I know when I'm depressed or I'm going through my depressive episodes, I can't create. Like my heart isn't in it. And the work that I do create is crap. So they're creating something that's going to be long lasting. It's music. It inspires others. It sends a message to everyone else. So yeah, I feel like making sure that their feelings and mental and emotional is where it needs to be is important, because it affects the creative, which therefore affects the opportunities and affects the money and affects
the product,
everything.
Like I said, I talk to a lot of people on both sides, you know what I'm saying? So I always think it's a dope conversation. Another thing I want to ask you, with being a manager, and you could just speak to your role specifically, and if you can speak on it on a broader aspect as well. What is the role of a manager? You know what I'm saying? I talk to artists and they be like, I was working with a manager, but they weren't paying for this, paying for that. And I talk to a manager, they was like, it's not my job to pay for this. I'm supposed to do this and do that. They supposed to have the money. So what is your job as a manager, and is it overall, do you have a manager blueprint, or is it just case by case, I guess?
So this is my first time really managing artists, like I mentioned, because it wasn't something I wanted to get into. When I was doing my master's, we had to do like a class on artist management. So from the class and everything, it's more so managing their image, putting them in the right spaces, bringing them opportunities that they ultimately make the decision on, and negotiating contracts and things of that nature. And then you get paid by percentages, you know. So that's kind of traditionally schooling wise where like my idea of a manager is. Technically, the managers don't have to pay for things, but some do, some don't. I think it depends. Because if you have like investors and things, then you can pay for things and you can fully invest in them. Also, on a larger scale, when you're working with artists as a manager, you have potentially deals and things like that where you can kind of pull funds from. So I think it really just depends on where the artists are, where the manager is, what kind of financial backing they have behind them. But ultimately, it's a manager's kind of like you're there to help them grow in their career and put them in the right spaces. And if you can invest in them, then you do.
What is your goal? Well, your goal, I'm pretty sure it's a conversation you guys have had together, but what is your goal, you all's goal for the artist? You know what I'm saying? Are you shopping them for major deals? Is it super independent? Is it a viral song? Is it a radio song? Is it a tour? You know what I'm saying? What's the goal for you and your artist?
So distribution deals. So far, I haven't had anyone tell me like we want to sign to a label. I think we're also in an age now where more and more people are sticking to being independent, and distribution is more so the primary goal. For like our goals are pretty much to become household names, like at least Chicago, starting in Chicago, then take over the Midwest, definitely do tours, and just be everywhere.
For sure. Now, are like you said, you mentioned if I'm not, don't let me put words in your mouth, but you said you never want to get into artist management. Now that you are an artist manager, and a good one from what I'm hearing, you know what I'm saying, and from what I'm seeing, are you open to take on other artists? Can other artists who's watching and listening to this contact you? Is it
No.
what's the stance on that?
No, no. I have enough with three. I'm good. I have, because again, if they already keep me busy. So if I was to take somebody else on, I wouldn't even be able to invest in myself because again, I have my website. I still do my music reviews. I still do event reviews. I still have my YouTube. I have artist advice on my YouTube, which is pretty much like business advice, like how to format an email, how to CC versus BCC in emails, how you should handle promotion. So I even have that, which is a free resource. Like I'm not asking for anything. Like watch the video, learn what you got to learn, and then that's it. I don't want nothing from you. Just here's some advice, take it or leave it. Hopefully it helps in your career. For me to manage anybody else, I wouldn't do it. No. No, probably not anytime soon. Anyways, let me not say no because I said I never wanted to be a manager and here I am. So, and I still don't believe that I'm fully a manager.
I mean, I can't. You're a manager. You're a manager. We're not even finna do that up in here. So with you being a manager, what's the best part? Even though it's not nothing that you want to get into. Now that you're a manager, what's your favorite part?
Seeing them happy, seeing them accomplish their goals, just like the excitement that they get when they call me. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm performing at X, Y, and Z." Or like if I send them something, they're like, "Oh, you booked that?" Like just seeing them flourish is what my favorite part. Like
I'm glad you said that too. Do you have to be a fan of the artist's music that you manage?
in general, no. Am I? Yes. I am. I listen to their music all the time. I can pretty much sing their songs verbatim. Like if I've been in the studio sessions and stuff like that, I can it's in my brain. If I wasn't there when they were making it, it might take me a little longer. But I was a fan before I was the manager, so but I don't think that it's a necessary part of the job in general, because
But
it's a product, you
don't
know.
some kind of critique go into it though?
Oh,
Like, do you,
absolutely.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So do they turn in anything to you and you be like, maybe you should
Oh
do
yeah.
that?
Yeah. If I'm not in the like if I'm in the session and I'm like, I think that this word you could probably change it. Then we'll listen back. And then we'll kind of discuss it and be like, okay, well, and then we'll either redo it or we won't. Like we kind of just got to hear both sides of it. And then again, since I am like I guess a music critic, that's what I did beforehand. Was all I did was sit there and review music. So if they send me something afterwards, I'll be like, well, maybe the levels aren't good here, or maybe this part we could like move over here, or things like that. But it's always a conversation. It isn't like what I say goes or what they say goes. It's like, okay, let's figure it out. Like, how can we make this the best product possible? Yeah.
Okay. This next question is kind of a two part. You mentioned you're hitting the artists up like shows booked. You know what I'm saying? Is that how it goes? Like you just book the show and they be like, hey, it's booked. You know what I'm saying? And they be like, hey, just make it happen, or do you be like, hey, can you make it here, make it there? And then the second part I was gonna ask you, what's the criteria for making your artist a part of a show, a showcase, a contest, a slot giveaway, or is that something that y'all don't even entertain per se?
So I manage their calendars as well. So when an opportunity for a show comes, depending on what it is, I'll be like, okay, let me look at the calendar. Cool, they're available. But I'm like, let me call them, be like, hey, this opportunity came in. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Like, this is who's performing. This is who is behind it. Whatever. I'm like, hey, your calendar says that you're free. You say yes, I'll book it. You say no, I'll figure it out. So that's how it does. I would say the one time that I didn't really ask for permission was a big show, because the opportunity was so big that I was like, no, you're booked. You're performing. Like, we're going to figure it out because it's a major opportunity. And I was like, yeah, no, you're doing this. The calendar, it's on the calendar. You are free, and it's a couple months out, so we'll figure out the schedule. That was, I think, probably the only time that I was like, no, like, both of you guys you're both on it. Like, I got you booked. We're doing it. You know. But aside from that, it's also, each of them has different goals. So, like, for example, one of them will be like, I only want to do 2 shows this month. Cool, we only do 2 shows. I want to do 5 this month. Okay, well, let's figure out how we're going to do 5. It depends. It depends on what their goal is for that month, and how it aligns with whatever rollout they have as well. If we have an album rolling out, then, okay, let's maybe save the shows for after because we'll have new content. Or it's also a little bit of, I put like my marketing brain into it as well, because I do have like a background in marketing.
Right, you got the cheat code with this shit. Sure, you build websites, you write. I'm sure.
Yeah, I started in marketing, so I also look at it from a marketing standpoint. Like, okay, well, does this fit your brand? Does this fit what we're trying to? Does this fit the rollout for whatever project or song? So it's a lot that goes into it. But I said there'll be occasions where I know that the opportunity is so major that we're not having a conversation. Like, we're doing it.
For sure. That's dope. I got a few more before I let you get up out of here. So, like, I've been doing this since, like, COVID. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no background on this. I came up from, like, YouTube channels like yours. I just go on YouTube and put, how do you know what I'm saying? I find somebody doing it, and I do it. And I say that to say this, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Chicago, like, media, music, like, underground scene is kind of small. You know what I'm saying? You see the same people working with the same people. And I had a situation where I interviewed a manager, and then another manager came in. He's like, yeah, that manager, you know what I'm saying, tried to poach my artist, you know what I'm saying, from me. You know what I'm saying? Is that something that you've ever had to deal with? Like, your artist, like, yo, I had somebody, you know what I'm saying, contact me about representation or anything like that? Or is that something that you don't even worry about them entertaining? Or
I believe they have. Well, for one of the artists, I co-manage her with her brother, because he was managing, but he lives out of state. So she kind of brought me in like her brother was like, hey, I think you should bring Melly on your team. And we have this big meeting coming up. Like, we want her in that room for her legal brain. So we kind of share her. But there have, especially like seeing the momentum, some of them have gotten offers from other management and stuff like that, but they bring it to me. Hey, I just got this email. And I've said it from the beginning with this, and like, if there's a better opportunity, take it. Like, I never want to get in the way of your career. If there's a better opportunity, we agree that it's a better opportunity, go for it. Go for it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know everything and I'm the best in the world. Like, no, if there's a better opportunity, take that shit. Take that shit. Like, I don't see any issue with it. I mean, so far. So far.
That's dope. That's dope. That's definitely honorable. So a little bit earlier, I asked you about your favorite thing about what you do. You know what I'm saying? You already said you ain't want to get into it, so I still got to ask you this question. What's your least favorite thing about being an entertainment manager? If you could take anything away about what you do on a day-to-day, on a week-to-week, on a month-to-month, if you could take anything away about it, what would it be and why?
I say, in general, in the entertainment space,
In general.
because I've been doing this a very long time, I would say, which is the same answer that Maya had, but it's also my experience, is the egos. Especially, it's a male-dominated industry. And I'm a teeny tiny girl. Like, we see it. We're not blind. We see I'm tiny.
4K.
It's in 4K. So I think, as, like, again, being in a male-dominated industry, even though I have all of this education, all these accolades and all of that stuff, it's hard sometimes they don't want to take you seriously just because you're a female. And it's the ego of, well, I'm not going to take advice from her. Like, or if it is a criticism, it's like, well, she's a bitch. All right, fine, I'm a bitch, but I'm right. So I've encountered a lot of those situations. I've also encountered another thing, like another rule that a rule that I have kind of now set in place by getting back in the industry is I won't date in the industry. Because I've had situations where I was predominantly dating in the industry, and it got to the point where I was helping them build their career, and they were like downplaying me, or they were using my name to get opportunities that I didn't know anything of, and then shitting on it. So that's another thing. It's just the egos and the pride of like, well, no, a girl couldn't get me this opportunity. I got this by myself. It's like, I don't need a public freaking acknowledgement, but like, don't shit on me. You know.
Okay, for sure. Well, I definitely appreciate your time. Before you go, just let the people watching and listening, what all you have to offer. Like you mentioned the YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying? You wear a lot of hats, so if you could just let them know, you know what I'm saying, what you have to offer. You know, then she ain't gonna manage you know what I'm saying, but you check out her YouTube channel and what else you got going on.
Yeah, no management. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But aside from that, I have my website, www.mellystars.com, which is pretty much the hub for everything. So on there, I do music reviews, album reviews. Just send me your music, I review it, and then you get you get published on a media site. It's actually, I got recently in the top 100 hip hop and rap sites like worldwide. So. That's kind of cool. I also have Melly's Couch, which is coming back, which is where I do artist interviews. Similar to this, we sit on the couch, we talk a little bit. She's trying
to take over, yeah, no.
That's where I did start. We also, and it's on Spotify and all of those streaming. But again, you could all of the links for everything is on my website. I have the YouTube, which is where you will find the artist advice series, behind the scenes, vlogs. I also post the interviews there if you have like a visual one. I do written, audio, visual. So depending on what you decide to get, the visual one will be on the YouTube. I also do Lego builds because I like Legos. It's very random. Yeah.
I'm gonna get the Thanos fist, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh,
Fist.
I did that one.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna put it on the shelf. It's on shelf
I
and
had
everything.
it on my desk for a long time.
I'm gonna get that. I'm thinking about. I ain't got no space for the Titanic, but yeah.
Oh, I want Hogwarts Castle. I did like the mini Hogwarts Castle,
Yeah.
which I just posted the video for, but I want the big one. But you need like a.
I want the
lot
Star
of
Wars Boba Fett helmet too. I want the Boba Fett helmet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's cool.
Oh yeah, man, that's dope, man.
Yeah. Man, what else is on the YouTube?
Hey, you cool as hell. No.
I'm a nerd. Like I also have like Funko Pops because I collect those. Nerdy stuff like there's
I definitely smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah, there's different playlists, so there's a little bit of everything. Like I said, vlogs, travel vlogs, event recaps are on the YouTube too. What else? What else do? I do a lot of things. I think that
With all these outlets and media streams, do you pay attention to the analytics? Like, do you pay attention to the viewership on the website, to who's paying attention on YouTube? Do you pay attention to that stuff, or you just put it out and let it do what it's gonna do?
No, I am big on the analytics. So again, since I have a marketing background, I also did a lot of SEO and a lot of analyzing the things.
Did you build your? You use WordPress?
I use WordPress. Yeah.
What SEO you use? I ain't used one yet, but I need to find a good one. I'll just be.
So I primarily do organic SEO, which is like through writing.
Yeah.
So which is like the keyword search
and we're gonna rap. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily pay for it for the SEO. I do it organic.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I learned to do it. When I was marketing promotional products, I was a spokesmodel. It was a thing. We had hired an SEO guy who had like 30 years of experience in doing SEO, and nobody liked him, but I have the tendency to get along with people, and I like to learn. So I learned a lot from him on more so the organic sense of it. I know how to do the paid SEO as well, but I don't invest in it right now. But analytics are major, so I kind of craft my post based on my analytics. So for example, my website, the days that I get the most views is Sundays from like 8 to 9 p.m. So I try to make sure that I post that night around that time. But then on my Instagram, I get the most traction Mondays. So, okay, I post Sunday on my website, but then Monday I do the Insta post. And it's a lot that goes into figuring out the right schedule.
Fast, because I still ain't figured it out, goddammit. I'm sure. But I definitely appreciate your time, your insight, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you bringing the artist through. I love for you to come back, you know what I'm saying? Because I know you're going to be doing big things. Before you get up out of here, let the people know where they can, if you want to let them know, you know what I'm saying? If you want to let them know where they can find you on social media, where they can find the artist music, where they can find, you know what I'm saying, the Lego bills, the YouTube channel, all that good shit.
all the things. So you could find me, like I said, you could Google me, just Melly Starz, MELLYSTARZ. Again, that's my website. All of my social media handles, it's Melly Starz. You can follow me Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever. Threads. What else? Facebook, I think, is official Melly Starz, and so is YouTube, because stuff. Podcasts, you can find Melly's Couch on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those things. What else? Yeah. But like I said, the hub where you're going to be able to access everything is www.mellystarz.com. And then you could also check out my other brands from there, because outside of the music stuff, I do have like a book talk, and my dog has his own Insta, so
your dog probably got more damn followers than me. Oh, shorty. So you said a book talk?
Yes.
What is a book talk?
So that's it's a community on TikTok where we talk about books, and we're nerds, and we dress up and there's balls and
virtually.
No, in person. Like some of them are virtual, but there's like in person. I haven't gone to an in-person one yet.
Okay, so it's a book reading, cosplay, TikTok.
Well, yeah, and then book recommendations and like.
Oh, so it's not like a book
reenact-
that y'all reading like right now, and then y'all go to the next book and then.
There's some like of the bigger book talk creators that have like reading clubs where they do that. Like, hey, we're gonna read this book, or they'll have like they'll just be on TikTok live reading. Like just reading.
Yeah, you
like
can
not like reading out loud.
Everything
Just,
is
like,
you can watch
there,
anybody do anything.
and everybody's just reading the same. I'm like, I'm not there yet to just be sitting online just reading. But yes, I also do the book talk. I'm a nerd. Like
Where do you
I'm
get
business, but I'm a nerd.
where do you get the time? Where's the time? Do you sleep?
I'm sorry. What's the definition of sleep? Because I don't know what that is.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed? I guess that's a better question.
When I'm behind on things, yeah. Like if I'm behind on schedule or like because I have a schedule, so I have a set date for everything. Which is again based on the analytics and my posting. So like I know book talks, my best days are like Tuesdays. Then my dog's his page is the best days are Wednesdays, and Melsville
Not
is
the dog best pages. That's my best date. Oh, shorty. I gotta switch it up, man. I know that's what's going on. Dog taking all my damn views.
So I kind of base it on the analytics, and I try to dedicate those days, and then it's just it depends. Sometimes I will plan things out months in advance. So, for example, the artist advice series. Since I knew I was moving, I filmed about 20 videos before I left. So I already half the year pretty much set for artist advice. It's just literally rolling it out. I do a lot of that where I'm like, okay, I'm going to chalk off one day for the month where I'm just going to film content, and then I'll figure out where I'm going to schedule it.
For sure. Well, like I said, I definitely appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. In a minute, gang.